I actually wear glasses. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now for today's video, you can already see that something's a little bit different, and it's the fact that I actually wear glasses, and I normally don't wear glasses in my videos because of a certain reason that you're seeing right now. There's a glare and it's pissing me off, but we're gonna move past it because I want to kind of fit into the mood of this video, which is a very short recommendation videos for women who are in tech. If you guys are in the tech field, then you guys would definitely love this video, which is about romances featuring women in tech and that are fantastic and love what they do and do their job really well. I feel like reading romances featuring women in different career choices is so important because it kind of opens up a world of possibilities for younger romance readers, especially when they're trying to pick out like their majors and kind of trying to pick out like what professions they want to lead into. And it's just fantastic also learning about, you know, other things than what you're currently doing, like other industries that you never dreamed about doing or never would do. So I put my glasses up here because the glare was just pissing me off. But the first book that I want to recommend you to read is actually Crushing on You by Jen Trin. And now Jen Trin is actually a new to me author. I found Jen on Instagram through a mention and through like kind of like an area where like they recommend you to follow new people, and I just clicked on her profile just to see what's up, and turns out she was an author and she's indie published. So she wrote her first book, Crushing on You, in January 2020, and then she released her second book in the series in June 2020, and I was immediately intrigued because the cover of this book is gorgeous and I'm a total sucker for covers. So I was really interested in reading this one, and especially because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and back then I still had my Kindle Unlimited subscription, so I was like, this isn't going to hurt anyone if I just read this book. And I'm so glad I read this book because it had fantastic Asian American representation in this one. It talked a lot about like family, it talked about a lot about how the social stigma and like how people think Asians are, and it also talked about like culture and things like that, and coming to realities of like, you know, as an Asian American, you're born in America but you're raised Chinese, or you're raised by like, you know, your parents' backgrounds, because you never 100% grew up in that environment, so you might not always understand the cultural customs and things like that. So it was a great story in that sense, and it had a great diverse cast, and I really enjoyed what the story stood for. But this book basically follows a girl who is kind of coming to terms with herself. She went through a lot of series of different career choices, and then we have our main male character who actually works in tech, and he's like a project manager in one of these very big technology corporations, and he's very serious. He kind of followed the Asian American dream, which was graduate from a great university, become a manager, and then make a lot of money so that you live kind of a good healthy lifestyle that your immigrant parents might not have lived back at home, or also, you know, growing up in America and after immigrating to America. So our main female character kind of hates him because she doesn't like how an Asian guy always tends to follow what their parents say and kind of like not branch out and explore the creative sides. But when the opportunity does come up for her to actually work in the same technology company as him, and for her to actually work with a lot of like great people in tech and to actually work in the tech industry, she kind of really enjoys her job. And it's also there where she kind of enters a forbidden romance with our main male character. Jen is actually an amazing person who actually worked in the tech industry. I think she was like a project manager, and she was doing really well, but then she decided to take a break and to write some books, and I'm so glad she did, because or else I would have never read such a precious book as this one. I really connected with the story of this one as well, and it's amazing. So definitely go check out this book, and also go check out Jen as well because she's very sweet and very lovely. So the next book that I want to recommend is that features a woman in tech is Loathe at First Sight by Suzanne Park. So I've talked about this book a lot on my channel, in my wrap-ups and also in my recommendation videos. This book is about a woman who works in the video game industry, and you can already kind of sense that this industry is very male dominated. Our main female character, who has put in the double the efforts in order to be recognized for like something that her male colleague would have done, and it's really great to see this female character kind of like fight the stigma, and to also like kind of like fight for feminism in the male-dominated industry because her male colleagues are sometimes insensitive towards her, and they are always kind of like treating her differently because she is a female, and her thoughts and her ideas are not always going to be heard because, you know, she's Asian American, so she's not white, and she's also not male. So there's a lot of like issues and tensions like that. This one kind of focused on the story of how her crazy lunatic idea has been green-lighted by her boss, and that now she is the project manager of her game, and she has to make sure that her game is created, coded, and perfected so that they can launch it for next year. And lots of the people in the gaming industry are upset that, you know, this one game from this major corporation is actually drafted and created by a girl, and they're already having poor reviews of the game even though the game hasn't launched yet. So if you guys want a story where it kind of features a underdog who succeeds in the end, then definitely check out this one. And also Suzanne Park actually did a lot of research for this novel. She actually attended a lot of conferences for video games, and she actually spoke to a lot of women in the tech industry so that she can better understand how they combated these negative actions towards them. So following up on the trend of video games and video gaming in romance, so the next book that I would recommend is Crushing It by Lorelei Parker, and now this book recently came out this year as well. This book features a female character who develops role-playing games and like video games and things like that, and her project is about to be green-lighted too as well, and it's going to be pushed forward, but the last step that she needs to do is to actually convince her company to actually make it an actual game. And she hates public speaking, like she is terrified of it, she has major anxiety over it, so she really doesn't want to do it, but she also knows that this is kind of her dream and she needs to obtain it. So then she decides to practice and to make herself feel better. So she decides to join a local bar's diary slam. So if you guys are familiar with slam poetry, then you'll kind of understand the idea between a diary slam, which is basically you read your old diary entries in front of the public, and then whoever has like the most interesting or the most embarrassing or the most thrilling diary entry, then you get to win a major grand prize. Obviously, she's not there for the grand prize. She's actually just there so that she could perfect herself for public speaking. But when she finds that she moves into different rounds and she's actually moving up the ranks, she's getting quickly excited over it because she really wants to win now because her competitive nature comes out. So what happens when her first round, she actually talks about her really intense crush that she had back in college, and then that man that she had a crush on actually comes out and she meets him face to face after all these years. So this is kind of like a love story between her figuring out her emotions for her past crush and also figuring out her emotions for her work colleague that she closely works with. So the last book that I would recommend is actually not a book, it's a novella, and this novella is called Can't Escape Love by Alyssa Cole. So I've talked about this book in my August wrap up and you would know that I really enjoyed it. So this book is about a woman who is disabled, so she's actually bound to a wheelchair, but she's not letting her disability stop her from achieving her dreams, and she actually works in the tech industry, and I think she built like this like business and this website called Girls with Glasses, and she's a complete nerd and she geeks out over like a lot of things and she just loves what she does. And then so when she's battling insomnia, she asks the help of this gamer or like this man who like does streaming games, and then she asks him because she really likes his voice and she thinks that his voice is very soothing and calming and that can help her actually fall asleep at night. So then when he agrees, they actually have these like late night talking sessions where, you know, they're discussing about their life, they're telling stories about their childhood with each other, and they end up actually falling in love. And it's a very romantic story that I would recommend to anyone if you guys are looking for a quick novella. But anyways, that is it for all the books that I would recommend to you if you guys want to read about a woman in tech. Definitely go leave comments down below if you guys have any more recommendations for me or any more recommendations for viewers of this video who enjoyed it, because I know a lot of people need to read more about these books. And yeah, but until next time, I'll see you guys again. Bye.